Ever since humanity has evolved consciousness and cognitive thought, we've proposed many profound questions about our universe that can't be answered with ease, creating the field of philosophy. And as time has passed, these genuinely interesting philosophical ideas have become attached to historical perspectives, such as those from ancient Greece. In turn, these thoughts can be now seen as dull and boring by many people. However, many of these classical ideas were reborn in modern pop culture when the hit sci-fi classic The Matrix was released at the turn of the 21st century. In this film, Neo is a hacker woken up to the truth about the world around him. He and the rest of humanity are stuck in a simulation so that the artificial intelligence that put them there can suck their bodies dry of their energy. Now, Neo must join a resistance of other enlightened people, led by a man named Morpheus, to end the war between humans and machines. Now, from the summary of the movie, one can already see dozens of philosophical issues arise. However, in this video, I want to explore three specific topics: happiness versus authenticity, free will versus determinism, and the simulation hypothesis. And without further ado, let's dive in and see how far the rabbit hole takes us. The debate between living a happy or authentic life is a prevalent philosophical theme throughout the movie. And Cypher, for instance, is one character that would have chosen the former option. In the real world, Cypher hates that he knows the truth about the Matrix. He must live a painful existence in a glorified tin, forcing himself to eat the flavorless gruel that they serve in the ship. The only thing that does keep him sane is his love for Trinity. That soon becomes a hopeless goal as she falls for Neo instead.
I'm tired, Trinity. I'm tired of this war. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of this ship being cold, of eating the same goddamn goop every day.
Cypher believes that when Morpheus woke him up from the Matrix, he became more of a slave than when he was in the simulation. And in turn, this is what sparks him to make a deal with the machine agents, telling him he will sabotage Morpheus if his memory is wiped and he's put back in the Matrix with a blissful life.
After 9 years, you know what I realize? Ignorance is bliss.
However, on the other side of the argument, Agent Smith explains how he knows humanity would answer this question when he interrogates Morpheus.
Some believed that we lacked the programming language to describe your perfect world, but I believe that as a species, human beings define their reality through misery and suffering.
From Smith's monologue, we can see that the movie provides an argument that naturally humans are not satisfied with only happiness, and we as a species yearn for truth beyond that joy, no matter the consequences behind it. Humanity's natural search for truth over pleasure is why the machines had to add cruelty within the Matrix, to distract humans from this search. Naturally, as humans, I think we want to deny the idea of determinism, otherwise known as the idea that the events in our lives are set in stone. Instead, people want to believe in free will to feel responsible for all the decisions they make in their lives. And in The Matrix, this debate between determinism and free will is heavily seen in the overarching prophecy of the One. When Neo wakes up from the Matrix, he's a gifted hacker, and Morpheus and the rest of his crew believe that he's the One, a godlike hero prophesied to end the war between humans and machines.
Jesus Christ, he's fast. Take a look at his neurokinetics. They're way above normal.
However, Neo does not believe he's the One due to a strong intuition deep down. Nevertheless, he's still a little bit surprised when the Oracle confirms his suspicions and says that Neo is not the One.
But what?
But you already know what I'm going to tell you.
I'm not the one.
Sorry, kid.
However, during the final fight of the movie, Neo's destiny seemingly changes. When Neo is shot by Agent Smith, he flatlines and appears dead. That is, until Trinity kisses him and assumingly brings him to the realization that only senses in the real world are genuine. Neo finally realizes that the Matrix is nothing but a dream, and more specifically, one he can control, causing him to come back to life as the One.
No.
from a free will perspective, the movie makes several arguments that Neo made all these decisions himself. For example, Neo did not believe he was the one, even though he was obviously gifted. It also makes sense that Neo chose to realize the true nature of the Matrix, allowing him to revive from the dead, because a rational human being wants to avoid permanent death at all costs. However, when we look back at the scene where Neo interacts with the Oracle, we can see that she suddenly hinted at his revival, proving that she can predict his future.
You got the gift, but it looks like you're waiting for something.
What?
Your next life, maybe. Who knows? That's the way these things go.
Instead of being honest, the Oracle manipulated Neo's path. If she would have told Neo the truth, that he was the one, he would disagree with her, just as he did with Morpheus and the rest of the crew. From here, there's a good chance that Neo would have never come to this self-realization about the Matrix and revive himself as the one. Ironically, when the Oracle said he wasn't the one, Neo fulfilled the prophecy because it caused him to deeply reflect and come to the self-discovery about the true meaning of his existence.
Morpheus. The Oracle. She told me
She told you exactly what you needed to hear.
However, what I believe the most prominent philosophical question that the Matrix attempts to answer is whether the whole idea of the Matrix is correct. Could we all be living in a simulation? Instinctively, we as humans want to deny this statement, and with good reason. How could something we've experienced so vividly with our senses be false?
God,
What?
I used to eat that. Really good noodles.
Nevertheless, many people from history have examined how possibly our senses are not as trustworthy as we think. Take Rene Descartes, for example. A 17th century philosopher proposed the theory that an evil demon was providing his senses the experience of the external world. And we can obviously see the movie supports this idea when looking at the entire plot of The Matrix, and humans being placed in a computer simulation with their senses being overridden by machines. But when Mouse talks about the different tastes of food within the simulation, he undoubtedly solidifies the movie's perspective towards the issue, that we can't truly trust our senses.
Do you know what it really reminds me of? Tasty wheat. Did you ever eat tasty wheat?
No, but technically neither did you.
Well, that's exactly my point. Exactly. Because you have to wonder now. Now, how do the machines really know what tasty wheat tasted like, huh? Maybe they got it wrong. Maybe what I think tasty wheat tasted like actually tasted like oatmeal or tuna fish.
Not only that, but the movie also uses the ideas behind Plato's allegory of the cave to further demonstrate the possibility of humanity living in a simulation. In Plato's story, a set of prisoners have been chained inside a cave since birth, watching shadows on a wall, thinking that this is all existence is. Then suddenly, one of the prisoners is freed and can exit the cave. The light from the sun blinds his eyes and makes it difficult for him to see once he exits, but he soon adjusts. After experiencing actual reality for a while, he decides to go back to the cave and explain to his fellow prisoners what he's learned. However, when he does, the shackled prisoners disagree with him and even become angry, explaining that the outside world has made him stupid and ignorant, and that their worldview is correct. From here, it's not hard to notice the references within the Matrix towards this thought experiment. For example, the members of the rebel crew clearly understand that there's a group of people who can't comprehend the truth about their lives.
You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it.
The movie also cleverly references humanity's possible ignorance towards our reality when Neo first wakes up from the Matrix and asks why his eyes hurt when he tries to open them.
Why my eyes hurt? You've never used them before.
Now, what makes the movie The Matrix so great to watch and think about from a philosophical perspective is that the film does not hold a firm stand towards any one side of the debates mentioned in this video. For instance, the movie provides standings from both happiness and authenticity perspectives. Additionally, it promotes the idea that our lives are a mix of choice and fate, rather than one or the other. The movie also provides lots of evidence for humanity living in a simulation, and the contrary idea that we can never definitively know if this is true. Instead, the movie allows the audience to make their own decisions on these matters, making it an easily rewatchable film and defining its place as one of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time.